Okay, so I decided to do a video to share my testimony of how the Lord Jesus Christ has shown me um, different things in my life that I was doing that was wrong, and has given me the gift of discernment, and has really opened my eyes to the culture, and a lot of things are shocking and surprising, and the world makes it seem like, oh, you're making a big deal about it. It's not a big deal, you know, but it is. And it's, God has opened my eyes to how spiritual the world is, and how we're all in a spiritual warfare, and how what you do, what you see, and what you listen to affects you, can affect you spiritually. Um, and the video is like, I'm not a person who's good at making videos yet. So I can't, get to sleep right now. And I know this video is I'm not showing myself right now because I look a mess. But you can just see my bedroom where I'm at. I don't know. I think it's like after it. It's 5:06 a.m. And I just wanted to share my testimony because I was thinking about now maybe having posting video, creating videos and posting them about my testimony, and sharing it with others, to let them know they're not alone, and help them understand, and to help them understand things. But I would never be a person that would talk in the place of a priest or a theologian. Anything that I didn't really fully understand, I would refer a person to a priest or theologian, or both. But all right, now I just wanted to talk about a little bit about, this is just for someone to listen to. It's not about, you know, if I decide to do these things, I will be on camera talking. But this is new, and I just got the idea, and it's it's like this right now. So I just wanted to say, to address uh, spiritual warfare, and how what's going on in the culture, that everyone, uh, most Catholics and Christians are aware of what is going on. Well, Catholics are Christians too, but I want to address the culture because I see how it affects people and how it affected me in the past, and I just wanted to focus on that right now. Specifically, um, music. Um, and I have a video that Matt and I have a video from 2020 where I shared my testimony with him. It was recorded about what happened in 2020, how God showed me things that were affecting me very negatively, and the outcomes were very negative. And as a result, I got closer to God, and I saw things clearly. I wasn't walking around blind. It was no more spiritual blindness. Um, we're spiritual. God created us in His image. We're spiritual, and there's a lot of things that we don't see through a spiritual lens like we should all the time, because it can be difficult. But that's why you need the gift of discernment to know what you're taking into your soul. The eyes and the ears need to be guarded, because that's can be a way for evil things to get into you. Not saying being possessed, but to you pick up on that, and you start getting desensitized, and you follow that, and from there it goes on and goes on and gets worse. So I just want to say, so back in 2020, when I had my first spiritual experience, that I can ever remember in my life. um, okay, so it was 2020, and I was friends with a girl named Michelle, like me. She spelled her name with one L, but I don't go by Michelle anymore. I go by Andrea, my first name. But I know everybody, I know any family members listening to me, I know you guys still call me Michelle. Um, but I will make it clear that I go by Andrea now. But it's okay. I can't stop stop any family members from calling me Michelle. So we were friends. We met in 2008. So we were friends for like more than 10 years, and we were really close. We were best friends, and she, you know, we were best friends. We could talk all night on the phone, and very close. And I was close to her daughters, mainly the oldest, Kayla. Michelle lives in, well, she's, I don't know, I'm assuming she's still in Bel Air. So she lived in Bel Air, in Baltimore County. So anyway, okay, so I started getting sensitized to things because Michelle was doing negative things to cope with things that were difficult in her life. She had admitted that she had done cocaine in the past when she was a teenager, but she wasn't doing it anymore. But she did do she does have ADHD, and she took Adderall. Um, and so I learned from Adderall from her that it gives you energy, it helps you lose weight too because you're not hungry that much, and it makes you feel happy. And that was like one of the first. I asked her for a pill back years ago, um, and she gave me one. I remember I was lost leaving her house in Baltimore, and I was so happy, and I felt like I was floating on a cloud. I had so much energy, I couldn't stop doing things. I was getting everything done. Got home, started doing stuff. I got so much done so quickly, so productive. I felt happy too, and I just felt light as a feather. And I didn't feel the need to eat. I didn't have any hunger. It was great, and I loved it. So of course I asked her for more. Um, but it would she would give me some here and there. So but then she changed different types of Adderall, and the other new ones didn't were, I don't know, extended release, and it didn't give me the same good effect. But anyway, it opened me up to, I mean, being around her, um thinking, I wasn't raised um to take drugs. And I wasn't thinking of it as that. It just started out as something that could help me here and there. And I never was addicted to drugs. I never will be. And I never was addicted to alcohol. Never will be. But I don't drink alcohol any longer. Um, if it's in medicine, that's fine. It's only a little bit. But I may, like, on certain social occasions, like maybe on, I don't know, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, if someone offered me a glass of wine at a party, I might take it. But I kind of doubt that, because alcohol is not bad. People can drink alcohol, but I've had a lot of bad experiences with my ex boyfriend, fiance, Chris, who was a severe alcoholic, and I saw how it affected him and me as a result. And I'll never forget those years, and it was horrible. And I don't want anything to do with alcohol. So anyway, but I would drink here and there though. When I was like a few years ago, but now I don't drink alcohol. I refuse it. So anyway, except the medicine. So anyway, um, you know, being around her desensitized me to things, the things I normally wouldn't do. Like, I'd be like, no, I'm not taking that pill. You know, it didn't. You have a best friend, and and she treats it as, oh, just, so what? It's not a big deal. Just take it. So I just took it, not knowing that you could feel so good. It can make you feel so good, and you want more and more and more. But but even when she didn't have that type of Adderall anymore, I was fine. But I always remembered it, and so I was able to get some, but they still weren't as good as the one she had gave me. And I got my primary care doctor gave me, he prescribed it to me in 2020, because I had lied and said, which was wrong, that I couldn't uh, concentrate to get it, because I wanted to help me to lose weight and to be productive. And he prescribed it, and I remember this was in 2020, and this is when I first started going to Aliyah Field Church, which is, we call it OLF for short. Um, it's a Catholic church in Millersville, Maryland, which is close to Gambrills. Anyway, so that's where I met Matt. He was associate pastor. MCJ, that's where I met him. He was the pastor at the time. And at first, it was just when I first started attending Mass there, it was Senior J as the pastor, and the associate pastor was Father Josh. I didn't really know Father Josh that much. He seemed nice, but then he left shortly afterwards, and then Matt came as the next associate pastor. But I was seeing Senior J for spiritual counseling, and then he started to get busy, and he was about to get a new assignment as the Eastern Vicar at the Archdiocese of Baltimore. So he was going to be leaving soon, so he's very busy. So I made an appointment with Matt, and that's when I met Matt, and it was wonderful. And he was my spiritual director, and I see him. He inspired me, and he's like a mentor, and I just love him. I adore him, and he helped God work through Matt to bring me closer to God. It wasn't Matt doing it; it was God working through Matt. And we had spiritual counseling appointments, and from there, I joined youth ministry through him, and I volunteered for the homeless. We packed food for the homeless. I also did a lot of different things. I attended different ministries there, and I also attended was a part of the it's called Walking with Purpose, women's Bible study, and it was great. So anyway, but I'm just going to focus on the testimony that I had with Matt. This one testimony. So anyway, it was in November 2020, around Thanksgiving, and I remember me and Michelle, whatever, always hanging out as much as possible, but it is like a distance between us. Glen Burnie from Bel Air was pretty much like a long drive, so sometimes I would get like I would like do different do different things to help cope me if I had anxiety or whatever. And I started doing karaoke because first of all, in the past, music has always helped me in the 90s with when I felt depressed or had anxiety or sad. It was always the music I would listen to, the certain music, mainly grunge, that would help me cope because I could relate to it, and of course it sounded good. So I started I started going through this phase, like I want to like record myself doing karaoke, so I did. And then I started, like, for some reason, 2020, like, I listen to everything, but now, not now. Now I don't listen to any music that God will not want me to listen to. But in 2020, I was listening to everything, except heavy metal. And I started going through a hip hop phase. And that was when Cardi B was popular and came out, and Migos, and 21 Savage. And I've always liked Lil Wayne, even from like the early 2000s when he came out with Cash Money Millionaires, and then his own career. I've always liked his music, and I don't know, I've always liked him, his charisma, and his music and everything, and just liked him. And just really, really, really like, there's something about Lil Wayne. I really like Lil Wayne. And so I started listening to Lil Wayne's music again, his old and new music, plus Cash Money Millionaire's music. And at the time, I was taking Adderall, and it was, when I first started taking it, it made me feel like not like as good as the first time I took it when Michelle had it, but because it was a different kind again, I think. But anyway, I felt I had no, I guess the word is no anxiety, no maybe a little anxiety still, but I had no inhibitions. I guess the inhibitions were gone. I guess I'm saying that right. Like there was no like, oh, I don't know if I should do this, and I'm nervous and blah blah blah. I'm gonna mess up. So I started like, because when I did karaoke, I was like doing like songs like Nirvana, pop songs, stuff like that. And then I started doing hip hop, and that was like odd for me to do hip hop. I was like, I'm gonna do karaoke with hip hop. I mean, it's like I listened to it, but I was like, I just couldn't see myself doing karaoke doing it. But then I started, but I tried it out, and I was taking, the Adderall, and I remember that when I would like, of course, I had to look at, read the lyrics, and you have to be on beat, and you have to have the flow that whatever the rapper's flow is, because you won't sound right. And I remember just you know practicing, the songs, and then the more I practiced, the more I got better at it. But then the Adderall added in made me feel like super confident. Like I did not care what anyone said or thought. I did not get nervous. I didn't think that I was gonna mess up. I was just like into it. I was into the song, into the flow, into what I was saying. Well, not into what I was saying, and not so into, not so much into what they were saying, but kind of. I mean, I was into it. Like I never had an experience like that where you're like really into the song and you're so confident and you're on point with the lyrics, and I just never did. I never did had that happen before. I never experienced that, and I was like, whoa. And it was kind of like, um I don't know, it was kind of like it was just weird. And then so, but it was like interesting at the same time. I was like, what is happening? I was like, and then I was kind of like impressed with myself, like I didn't know I could do this. Like what? I mean, we're talking about Little Wayne's, like I don't approve of his I don't approve of his I don't approve of everything he says and does or raps or sings in his music. But I just really like how he was really good with, I guess they call bars. He really could. His rapping talent is really good, really talented. Like he would say, rap like I got game like EA, stuff like that. He was just really good with his what he'd come up with, and it make sense and it rhyme, and it would be surprising too, and just very like really good. And I like 21 Savage too a lot. So anyway, I was doing the Cash Money Millionaire songs. I was doing like I think The Block is Hot was what I was doing. Um and some other songs. Anyway, I was like really into it. I was recording myself like some recordings would be better than other, but I would record it like just one time, record myself rapping the song along with the music on, and I was like keeping on beat, keeping up with the flow. I even what I'm trying to say is I even had the same like I had the same like enthusiasm or whatever that they had when they were saying it, a bravado or whatever, and not and that was not like me. And I could just easily be like, I'd be so like, even when in a verse with Little Wayne was like laughing, I would just naturally laugh too, not like to be like sounding stupid, but it just came to me naturally, and I'd laugh it off like whatever he was laughing off. It was like wow, like it was kind of like it was like a high rapping, and I never, that happened. And then I started like feeling numb after a while because I started getting restless because I don't know, I had a hard time getting to sleep, and I felt really numb. And I'm not a numb person. I'm an emotional person and sentimental person, and so not really feeling my emotions started freaking me out a little bit. But and then I went to mom dad's house for Thanksgiving, and then after that I left. I think mom knew something was off with me with my emotions. I was just like kind of like what's the word, I was just indifferent. Like I was just doing what I had to do, and just nothing really like bothered me really. I was just like, I don't know, I can't explain it. And so, but then when I got home around 11, and I talked to Michelle, and I said I don't feel right, and I'll call you later. And I remember just like feeling like uh really like getting anxiety and getting freaked out because I know this is not me. This is not me. This is not me as a person. Because and the more I listen to the hip hop music, the more the vulgar language, the things they were saying about women, putting them down, and the nasty things they were saying, the violence, all that. Started listening to that so much, and being numb about it too just really freaked me out, and it made me feel like this is not right, this is not me. And I started getting restless and anxiety, and I started uh I remember I remember I started getting scared. I dropped to my knees and prayed to God because I knew something wasn't right. And I remember I had a picture someone gave me from OLF of the Divine Mercy picture of Jesus in a picture frame in my living room. And I remember I kept staring at it, just kept staring at it, and just kept my eyes on Jesus' face. And then I felt like I felt like the devil came into it, like he was trying to um like the devil came into it. And I just think I didn't see anything, I didn't have any hallucinations or hear anything. It was just in my mind. I was thinking that Jesus said to the devil, she's mine. And I kept staring at Jesus and kept staring at him, and then finally it went, the everything negative went away. And I was so exhausted and shaken up. And I stayed up for a while. Then I finally fell asleep. I was really shaken up and exhausted. Never had something like that happen before, but it brought me closer to God, and God let me see that God will let you see in unexpected ways because He works in mysterious ways, and things that you think are not a big deal are a big deal and can lead to worse things. You may think like, oh, well, this is not a big deal, but if you're a child of God, God's gonna show you what's wrong. He's gonna take you and show you what's wrong. And God was showing me that, number one, you shouldn't be you don't need Adderall. I didn't need it. I don't have ADHD. Um, and I was beginning to abuse it because I was taking more than what I was supposed to, and God did not want me to abuse drugs. All I need is Him. And the music was corrupting me. It was just corrupting me. It's making me just be out of control and just doing what I want, and being like a woman, not being a modest woman. And that's not me, and that's not from God. And God saved me from that. And I'm just wanted to share that, you may think, um, people should know that drugs are nothing to play around with. And addiction is horrible, but I didn't have addiction, thankfully, but I could have been addicted to it. I know before Adderall, years before, I had taken Vicodin for pain. A doctor gave it to me and prescribed it. I was always prescribed my medication I got. And I remember I loved that drug, and because it made me feel happy. And I used to take, a little bit more than what I was supposed to. And once you start crossing the line doing that, you take one more, then one more, and then it gets more and more and more, and then a person can be in addiction. But thankfully, I never had addiction. And I used to abuse NyQuil, in the early 2000s and late 90s, because it made me relaxed. And the more I would take NyQuil, the more I would want more of it, and I needed it for at night. I remember I went out to 7-Eleven to get some, and I got into an argument with Chris, and he knew that I wanted that NyQuil to help me relax at night. He poured it down the toilet, and I went out and got more. And then I found out that, abusing NyQuil is really bad, because abusing anything is really bad. But NyQuil has acetylcholine or whatever it is in there, and it causes liver damage when you take a lot of that. And I don't do that anymore. Now NyQuil has made ZQuil, and I take ZQuil, but I don't abuse that either. I don't abuse anything. All I have, my divine physician is the Lord Jesus Christ. And I also just want to share that the music, even though it sounds good, and you may be used to listening to the song and think like, oh, I don't care about the words, or I don't like the words. I don't care about the words. I like the beat. Uh, guard your eyes and ears, because what you see, the eyes are the window to the soul. That goes into you, the things you see. Same thing with music. That you may just like the beat, but if you're listening to things that God, if you think, if you listen to things that are not from God, if you listen to things that God tells us not to do, like these rappers glorifying money and possessions and uh, sex and drugs and alcohol and sleeping around. If you listen to those type of songs and you say you just like the beat, that doesn't matter regardless of the beat. That's going into your soul through your ears, and the things you watch, like a lot of violence, or if anybody watches pornography or a lot of sex and music, that goes into you through your eyes. And that's, if it's not from God, it's going into you, then that's bad. That's evil. There's evil spirits out here that want to open us up and desensitize us to evil things, so that we will be desensitized to it and think nothing of doing those things. And then once you start doing that, you do it more and more and more. And then you pick up more, then you start doing even worse things and take it up to the next level, and you're doing mortal sins every day. You committing mortal sins every day like it's nothing. And some people get so stuck into it, it's a pattern and a way of life, and they can't, and it's so hard for them to get out. Only person that can help is Jesus with that. And I know one thing, when they say the truth will set you free, I totally agree, because the truth, Jesus has shown me the truth, and it has truly set me free. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm a sinner just like everybody else, and I have a lot to work on in my spiritual life. Um, and I'm trying to focus on a vocation, to well, I mean, when for college, I need to figure out what I want to do in the church as a vocation. So I'm still asking God to guide me to the right vocation in the church, whether He wants me to work in discipleship ministry or youth ministry. I want to work where He wants me to work. I don't. The thing, I used to be angry and sad about things that I wanted and I didn't have, and things that I did have that I thought would make me happy didn't make me happy. It just made me feel empty, and only Jesus can fill that emptiness in our heart. Nobody, only Jesus can fill the only Jesus can fill the emptiness in our soul and heart. And the best things in life are free, and the little things um are the things that make me the happiest. And but now the past is the past. I don't live in the past. I forgive people. I don't hold grudges. But at the same time, I will not allow myself to be abused or be around toxic people or a toxic, chaotic environment. That's not from God, and God is not the author of confusion, and God does not want that for anybody. And God has shown me all these things, and I don't want to go into this huge. I can like overdo it, talk too long, so I don't want to get off topic too much, but I just wanted to say that uh yeah, it's one thing is people will, yeah, everybody, most people know with any intelligence, just because you go to church every Sunday doesn't make you a good Catholic. But Catholics are supposed to, are told to go to church by God, because He's due His worship. Now, if you have a legitimate if you now if you have a legitimate excuse why you can't go, then that's fine. There's sacraments there. It's not a joke. I mean, if you don't go to confession regularly, you got sins on your soul, and you could die at any time, and you can't depend on, oh, well, I'll have a priest. No, you get in a car accident and that's it. And there's so much focus on mercy. Like, I think, I forgot who said this, but there's so much focus on God's mercy, because God is love, mercy, justice, truth, fortitude, perseverance, prudence, compassion. He's meek, He's humble. Um, um, he has humility. Well, the same thing as humble, but He also has His justice. And the evil in the world want people to just concentrate on Jesus' mercy. And yes, he has mercy, but he also has his justice. And when you don't think about the justice, you think, oh, I can just go to confession, I'll be all right. Well, you could die anytime. And God knows if you're really sorry for your sins or not. And you can never take advantage of God or deceive God. God knows in your heart if you're thinking that, oh, I'll just, God knows in your heart if you're thinking, I'll just commit this sin and God will forgive me because, God loves me and God has mercy and I'll just go to confession. No, no, no. That's very dangerous, and it's no guarantee when you die that you'll have a priest to give you your last rites. Um, we all of us could die at any time, and confession is very important. It's important for we can confess venial sins, but the mortal sins are the ones that definitely have to come off your soul. But the venial sins are good to come off your soul too. Um, all sins should be off your soul, but the main ones that can send someone to hell for eternity is the mortal sins, like fornication, adultery, um, uh, and people, some Catholics don't even know certain things because evil was infiltrated in the church, and they kept certain things away from priests talking to people about. So if someone doesn't understand the foundation of their faith, how can they know the right thing to do? Like I didn't years ago. There was things I didn't know, and I was, I feel like though as an adult, it's a person's responsibility to find out about things they're not sure about or things they don't know about their faith. And I didn't know that you're not supposed to have sex before marriage. I didn't know. I mean, before I didn't know you're not supposed to have sex before marriage. Before I didn't know you're supposed to get married in a Catholic church. You can't just say I'm gonna get married in a courthouse. Before I didn't know you're not supposed to live with a man before marriage. I didn't know these things. And so I did those things, and now I don't do this. Now I don't do these things. But there's a lot of Catholics who think it's okay because they don't know. But ignorance is no excuse. Once you become an adult, if you're not sure about something, um, or you don't know something, that's your responsibility to study your faith, which a person should be doing all the time to find that out. Um, and then there's people who think they'll say, "Oh yeah, these are the Ten Commandments, and I follow the Ten Commandments." But in their heart, though, these people can be hateful to others and lying on others, and they gossip. They treat others with hatred and anger. They have grudges. They don't forgive others, and they're just mean, bitter people because of their poor choices or things that happen to them, and they take it out on others. That's no excuse to do that to others. And so if you have all those things in your heart, but you say you're a Catholic though, and you think you know God, no, you don't, because God is love and truth and justice, humility, fortitude, perseverance, patience, prudence, fortitude. I think I said fortitude. And he's meek. And I believe, I hope I don't get this wrong, but his yoke is easy and his burden is light. God is our creator. We're created in his image. We all bleed the same color blood, red. Race does not matter. We're all human beings. We're all human beings created by God. And race has been used to divide people by the evil by the evil one, and people fall for it, and people are just so. God says in the last days that people would be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, arrogant, um, unloving, uncaring, hateful toward others, brutal, and toward others, unforgiving toward others. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Jesus didn't say brutal. I can't remember every word, but that's what's happening now. And the evil one wants to divide families, and feminism is evil. The man is supposed to be the head of the household, not because the man's better than the woman, but because that's how God structured it, and God has structured for reasons. And the man being the head of the household doesn't mean that he's the man being the head of the household doesn't mean he's supposed to be a tyrant. Men and women are different. Like Matt said to me, like, men and women were different, but we complement each other. He's better at some things than me, and I'm better at some things than him. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how God made things to be. There's no competition. And women want to rebel, like the Jezebel spirit, rebel. They don't want the leadership from the man, and they want to take over and dominate the man, and have the man follow them. And Jezebel was very evil, doing all these evil things, and a man who is weak and not the dominant one following a woman like that, and it was horrible. And us women, we're a little bit more emotional than men, and men are more logical than us. And if a woman's husband dies, or I don't know, if somebody doesn't have, if it's just a woman raising a child or children by herself because she has an excuse, or because she just did the wrong thing and the man's not there, then that's how it has to be. But it's not going to be good, because I can tell you, I can tell you right now, it's not supposed to be like that, and it's going to be plenty of dysfunction, because God made things in a certain way, certain roles for people in a certain way for a reason, not because He wants to be. God is definitely not a tyrant, not because He just wants to be a tyrant. God's definitely not a tyrant. He's doing it for our own good. He knows what's best for us, and people want to be ignorant, and then you can deal with the pain and the trauma that's going to come from not following God. Um, so yeah. I'm a person that I feel like, everybody has their own different temperament, but, it's always good. Nobody should ever keep their emotions inside. People need to learn how to talk to each other without arguing. We don't have to agree on everything. We all have our own right to our own thoughts and beliefs and whatever, and reasoning, whatever. But us Catholics, if we all say we love God, we're supposed to try to be like Him as much as we can. And like Mother Mary said, do whatever He says. And we can never be like God, but we need to try to be like Him. As much as we can. And I just don't understand what the love is. A lot of people have such cold hearts now. Just don't care, and they make excuses. Well, I'm busy, I'm tired, because they're dealing with the routine of life, and not caring about a person's feelings, not caring about helping a person, not caring about listening or supporting a person. I don't like people that are not affectionate, because affection, hugs can be like a medicine toward people, and sometimes people just need people to listen. And when people have their own problems because they're not managing their life correctly, and they're not doing the right things, and they're making excuses for themselves, and then because of that, they're miserable, and then they take it out on others, and they pass it all around, all this negative, miserable pain to people, and that's wrong. But I'm going off topic here now. I just wanted to just share that testimony. And so this is long enough. um I may start posting videos of testimonies from myself, um, maybe other people and other different things. But I just want to, say this, um, to get this out. And yeah, I'm gonna it's like, let's see, it's 39 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna cut off here. I hope people have anybody who's listened to all of this, thank you for listening. I hope you've learned something from this, and or related to something that I said and understood what I was saying. Okay, so I'm going to turn it off here. Thanks for listening. Bye.